So the time is 6:31. I will call the Deer Grove EMS Commission meeting to order. The agenda was revised, properly posted, and we have a forum. So the revised agenda is dated November 17th. So before we begin, we'll just do roll call of just the board. We're not doing, do we need to do that? No. And everybody is present. So we'll start with number 2, public appearances. This is the public's opportunity to speak to the commission about any item on or not on the agenda. Do we have anybody in the room that would like to speak? Is there anybody online that would like to speak? No? Okay, moving on. Approval of the minutes from the previous meeting.
I have a correction.
Okay, correction.
The date, the next meeting will be held on Thursday, November. The 9 key is right next to the 0. I accidentally hit the 9, intending to hit the 0, November 20th.
And here I thought you wanted a meeting on Saturday.
Would you have come?
I kind of figured you hit the 9 instead of the 0. Okay, anything else?
No, that's.
Severson moves approval of the minutes with the change to November 20th.
Dodo second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any other discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained, motion carries. Item number 4, discuss and consider approval of October financials.
I'll make a motion to approve the financials.
Second.
Call makes a motion, Andrew seconds. Any further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained, motion carried. Item number 5, discuss and consider approval of the bills for budgeted and approved expenses.
I just have one question on credit card purchases, firearm safety. That was not something that
Sure.
clearly with EMS.
It is, each full-time staff member is allotted $450 for education, their own education allowance. And as long as it's education kind of related to EMS, we approve it. And that was a personal request to take a firearm safety course to be more comfortable around firearms, especially with law enforcement carrying them.
Okay.
So it was.
So it wasn't like treating somebody that's a victim of a gunshot wound. It was just like the firearm and
Yes.
like learning how to shoot.
Yes.
Oh.
Just in case, you know, in the world, you never know what you're gonna come across. Generally speaking, we advise not to handle a firearm, but you just never know, and
You never know.
medic wanted to be a bit more comfortable in their skin, so they requested to use the allowance, and I said, sure.
Okay.
Any questions?
I would move approval of bills for budget approved expenses.
Got a motion from Severson, call second. Further discussion or questions? Hearing none, those in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Item 6, discuss and consider approval of write-offs and aging account.
So we have no hardship waiver requests. There has been some activity in wanting to complete some, so I would suspect that may see some coming in for some of our patients. But it's got to go through the whole hardship waiver process at EMS MC before it comes back to us. I would say when you look at the month for run fee collection, it was a decent month. Compared to the doom and gloom we were kind of alerted to with the government shutdown, I would suspect to hold on to that doom and gloom just in case.
January.
Yeah, November here isn't quite as good as October was. So, but with regard to our second payment for GEMT, we did receive it. except it wasn't the amount we were supposed to receive. And that seems to be a common theme amongst those that got second GAMT payments, was it wasn't the amount that they were supposed to receive. We'll be getting an email from Public Consulting Group explaining what they believe happened and what they'll do with our overpayment.
The, for October, the current billing of 317,000.
Yeah.
Were those sent out, like, are we caught up like with the Medicare ones that were paused?
Yeah, we started billing again on the
Okay.
15th.
Awesome.
I had discussions with EMSMC to get the feel of what other EMS agencies were doing, understanding that there was a risk of either getting paid too much and having to pay back, or getting paid not enough and having to keep track of that. If in industry wide, if there was anybody that was continuing to hold their payments and no one had made that decision. So everyone began releasing their payments on the 15th, when they started accepting them. And from what I understand, even though they weren't authorized to pay with the increases, they were still paying with the increases. So CMS made the decision on their own that if the increases weren't extended, then they would have had to come to us and claw back, as opposed to figuring out how to pay additional.
Move approval of the write-offs and aging of accounts.
Second.
We have a motion by Chrissy and a second by Paula. Any further discussion? Those, in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Item 7, staff report.
Okay, before we get too much into it, as I was reviewing the information in an email for the meeting tonight, I realized I erred. I've had meetings with MEP and SSM about medical direction throughout the month, and their desire to have a change in contract from MEP, the physicians group, holding the contract, to SSM holding the contract. And it's not just us that they're wishing to do this with, it's with all of their EMS agencies. So that MEP would transition their contracts from having them to SSM having them. It's just a matter of changing whose title is on the contract and who we pay. Why it's important is two things. We already have a contract with MEP. The SSM contract effectively duplicates the MEP contract with some SSM specific language. SSM desires to have one contract region-wide for all the EMS agencies. We're the first to get this contract. I had sent it to Mr. Barker to review, but he has a conflict. So his law firm must represent in some way, shape, or form SSM, so he can't review it. I made an assumption that y'all were going to want to have a new contract reviewed prior to approving it. So now we have to find a different law firm. So Pete was involved, attached to these emails. I reached out to the League of Wisconsin Municipalities. They do offer us some legal services for the insurance package we buy. Typically, it's centered around HR legal advice. So they're like, well, we've never heard this request before. We'll see if we can review this under the auspices of HR. Well, I got the email today that they can't. Their law firm, well, because it's not HR actually. So I think they don't want to open the floodgates to having to review things outside of human resources. The firm would have been Stafford Rosenbaum. I have a work with the village, worked on our IGA with the village attorneys. So I'm assuming that you all would like to have so this is you giving me guidance on what to do with this contract before I bring it back next month.
Mm-hmm.
You all would like it reviewed before you potentially approve it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Then is it acceptable if I talk to the village and see if they can bill us for Stafford Rosenbaum's hours? Either way, we're going to have to pay for an attorney.
Do we know what we're making? It was like a 12,000 not to exceed. I saw. Was that?
The contract value doesn't change. We're paying $1,000 a month for medical direction right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the district can, by the IGA, pass contracts up to 15,000.
Is there a date that this contract needs to be done by?
Seriously, do it.
It's just because I think, from an open meeting standpoint, this should be its own agenda
Mhm.
item. Just.
Well, I mean,
But
you're just giving the direction on where to go for an attorney.
Right,
I'm gonna bring
yes.
I'm gonna bring these.
I totally agree.
staff direction.
Yeah.
And the other thing is too, is that if this is what SSM is gonna be putting out to everybody, it's pretty much gonna be almost a cursory type of review from the standpoint that I'm sure that if they recommend changes to the contract, I doubt that SSM is gonna change the contract to meet whatever, you know.
I'll tell you, my review of the contract, I already suggested 3 changes that they added. So I think because we're the first ones, if we found something, they might be open to the conversation.
So we're
And-
looking for staff direction just to have the contract reviewed by,
Do you want the contract reviewed, and is it okay if I first talk to the builder?
Why is MEP getting rid of it, I wonder?
It's the way the SSM program wants to run. They want to have everything be, because there's components of the physician and we get services from SSM as part of it. Like Stephanie Lehman, and the training, most of the training comes from SSM, whereas the only thing we get from MEP is the actual doctor.
Who
So-
works for SSL?
The doctors
Works by
are
they're under contract.
contract to SSM through MEP. Yeah. So it kind of just takes the contractual things away. So some of the things I mean, make sure that we can choose the doctor. Make sure that they tell us notice to change the contract dollar amount. Anyway, probably too much into it.
so that will be reviewed. It'll be agenda item for December.
But just,
Sounds good to me.
okay, that's all was,
Legal review, and then you put on the agenda for.
okay, then the staff report.
Mhm.
I don't know that I have anything more to add but that, or to that, so as you get to something you'd like to ask, I'm open to answer questions.
Well, I think you did an outstanding job of having short notice to fill in when somebody couldn't come and did all the 24-hour shift. That speaks to the quality of staff. And
Yeah, we had an uptick this month in people that were, well, not only the people that were injured or full-time staff that were injured and off, we had an uptick of people being sick. So those short notice shifts are always a bit more difficult to schedule and fill than the long notice ones. So the hour and a half we missed was because someone came in and was ill and had to leave. So that is always the most difficult. So.
They did a lot of CPR classes. And you've got some upcoming. What kind of tenants do we get on those? Like you've got 3 of them coming up here in December, it looks like.
Yeah.
Just curious how many meetings.
It kind of depends on who the class is for. We try to schedule with, well, we don't just have classes to have classes. People have to have.
But Paul Davis, so they're gonna have people signed up and.
Yeah. My understanding from Paul Davis is we're going to certify a core group of their staff and then give CPR awareness to all of their staff. So we have some flexibility in the education we can provide. And about the training center, the data collection from the American Heart Association increased a little bit, so we have to report on, for the certification parts of it, things that we've never had to report on before, like total number of compressions in the training episode, total amount of time, some of those things which we're looking into potentially needing to upgrade our mannequin collection for those reasons. We have some high fidelity mannequins that show us the compression, depth and rate.
Yeah.
And then, doesn't show us anything about ventilatory rate. We have one high fidelity mannequin that we, were able to purchase on a grant a couple of years ago that shows us all of those things, but that's only one. When you do a class, we want probably at least 4 adult and at least 4 pediatric.
So you said American Heart wants that data for each student?
Yeah.
Really?
So it's one of those things in some of the high volume classes we do, we can count them certainly. But when you get a little bit better quality mannequin than what we have, and ours are, have been here as long as I've been here, so 7 years. The higher quality mannequins count those for you and use it as a display so that you can enter that information.
Any other questions?
After the casual/volunteer hiring process after October 21, job offers were made to 5 casual and 4 volunteer. How many accepted?
Oh,
Yay.
yeah, we know that, we hired Kiana from the volunteer pool, so that would, lessen that number by 1. And we know that we'll have a long-term leave of absence for one of our casual staff to take a new full-time job. And likely one will be leaving to travel abroad again, so. Well, we know that we'll have some space for them to work. And I believe we actually interviewed 12, so there was 3 people that we didn't offer to, so.
Anything else?
Nothing here. Want a motion?
I wouldn't need a motion, it's just a staff report.
No, right. I
It's
just
just
know if
questions.
you.
I don't know if you had other questions for Chief before we move on?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, then, moving on, item 8, correspondence.
I have 2. One's a letter from Amy from the Bank of Sudbury. She came over and did a little bit of as she transitions away from the president of the chamber to having time on her hands, I guess is the best way she put it. She wanted to do, they had an idea of doing some in the community with Amy from the Bank of Sudbury. So he came over here and took a look at one of the ambulances and wondered out loud what we did. So it's going to be a short, I think she said it'll get edited down to 30 seconds for a social media thing. We received a plaque from Madison Fire and EMS for our response to Abundant Life. So they wanted to thank us for our response to the event. They had a gathering at Epic and presented those and gave one of those plaques to everyone that responded.
Maybe from the Bank of Sunbury.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
So where was this presented?
There was a gathering at Epic that they invited one person at a time.
Is that epic? That was. Anything else?
Well, that's it.
Pretty cool. It's really. No. Okay, item number 9, update on 2026 Deer Grove budget, municipal approvals, any?
Yeah, so In the process for the Village of Deerfield and Town of Cottage Grove, we had our specific budget approved at the board meetings already in October. And then earlier this week, everything runs together. But earlier this week, the Village of Cottage Grove had their budget public hearing and meeting and approved the full budget, which included ours. So our budget is approved for 2026.
As of Monday.
I think.
Okay, that's good news. So we can move on from that. Item 10, discuss and consider approval of letter of engagement with Johnson Block and Company for the 2025 Bureau financial audit.
Not a bad price.
What's that?
Say it's not a bad price.
What was it last year? How much was it last year?
8,800.
So I believe we've been with Johnson Black for a very long time, haven't we? Like my last time on the commission. Sometimes it's not, and not this year, obviously, because it's November, but sometimes.
Consider someone different.
Yep. It's not a bad idea just to, you know.
Switch it up.
Correct.
Mhm.
Agreed. So maybe sometime in 2026, we can,
RFP it.
yeah. But I think this is fine for this year.
Motion to stay.
Anders makes a motion to approve.
Williams will second.
Williams seconds. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained, motion carries. Item 11, discuss and consider administrative services manager posting process, hiring process, benefits package. I think, Christie, you had asked that primarily to add this to the agenda. I think last time we had discussed moving forward with the standard package. I think you wanted to talk about that. And then I think the other question really is, we didn't dive into the posting process. And I think, Chief, you put some information in here as far as the timing and,
Yeah, what I'll add is our vacation time is in policy. Here's the policy.
Mhm.
We're not agendized to change the policy tonight.
No.
right.
But I mean, clearly through not only what you'll see from, I'll just everything on the once. Did you, anyone down Paul?
Yeah, I did.
And here's,
See that?
I need more help.
You need one back?
which one do you like?
My SOP. For the.
So I looked up the SOP while you're handing that out earlier. I looked up the SOP earlier and there's language in there that I believe allows us a little bit of flexibility. Under C, non-represented, full-time regularly scheduled employees unless otherwise stated in an employment agreement. So I think that unless stated in an employment agreement allows us some flexibility to reset on vacation.
So you would want like me to have one thing and then other people to have something else, or individual employment agreements? Is that what your desire is?
Honestly, yes, because I think what we need to do is we need to get this kind of back in line. So this is a newly created position, which allows us a chance to reset. So
So you're asking to change the vacation time if we hire again, or?
no, so I'm advocating that we reset the existing,
Schedule,
yeah,
vacation schedule.
because this is a newly created position.
That
So,
makes sense.
Yeah, I wasn't arguing that fact, Paul. I was just confused if you wanted to have something in policy and something in a employment agreement. Does everybody have
I have
one of everything?
How many pages are we supposed to have?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Three. Pay and benefits, vacation time, and then comparables.
So in the job posting, because I figured we were going to change this, I was vague into what the,
vacation accrual was going to be on intentionally. So we wouldn't have to be in conflict with something that got changed.
This is strictly vacation, not sick time, not holiday. That's all separate.
Yeah.
So when you look at the benefit and pay sheet, everything other than vacation,
Which page are you on, or which one?
it says pay and benefits at the top.
Okay.
So all, the pay and the benefits, I think we're all aligned on. It was the vacation just jumped out as,
Now, I can tell you where this likely came from. Is 300 hours is 7.5 weeks.
Yeah.
That aligns with at 10 years what the ambulance staff get for vacation
For
accrual.
the contract.
So it was at the time that that's what their accrual was, so it came into policy. When that was, I don't know. But obviously, you look at the top is 240 hours. And at
which is
360.
6 weeks, which is still pretty generous.
Well, I think the bigger issue too is if I look at the vacation time policy, it hasn't been reviewed since 2019, right? I mean, as a general rule, I think
We reviewed the vacation policy in 2023.
Which wasn't updated or season over
it says 2019.
issued 2009, reviewed 2019.
Yeah, okay, well, I don't remember what I saw 2023 on that. Yeah, it would have been reviewed in 2019 to make sure that the calculation for non-full-time people was accurate. Here's some
Also,
What's that?
I will hand out the sheets. Some of it's duplicate of what.
Another thing for you to consider, and it's for me personally, is my vacation bank is at 360 hours right now. I'm at the max I can accrue. So if you decrease the amount that I can accrue, I would ask that I be paid out.
You're an existing employee.
You'd
This is
be
a newly
grandfathered.
created
You'd be
position.
grandfathered.
Yeah, those are like two separate issues.
So.
There you go.
This is the new position. You have another one for chief?
You want one more? Good for the other one.
I have, yes, sorry.
That's okay.
So I come up from a virtual world of a policy is a policy, right? So if we're gonna adjust this policy, then it affects us all equally.
This
You
is
can
the
grandfather.
policy.
You can grandfather existing and just from new employees from this point on. Go by this.
Okay.
It would be non-represented employees, right?
Right, right.
Piece this thing down.
I don't know. So Christie, you put this together?
I did,
So walk us through.
without a computer.
Oh.
You didn't use your iPad?
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, I received all the information that Christie has. I just correlated it to hours so that you could see what was in the policy.
Was it the same?
What's our current carryover policy for vacation for folks?
You can accrue up to 150%.
How about,
You can accrue up to 150% of your annual allowance.
and carry that over each and every year?
We earn it as we go.
It's a cruise, right?
So every week, as for general statement, every week I earn 9 hours of vacation.
Understood, but
So
I'm just saying,
if I
so,
get to 360 hours, I can't accrue anymore because that's my max.
Okay.
So, or anybody for that matter, whatever 150% of their annual allotment is.
So your annual allotment's 240 hours, you can carry over 150%. 360.
or carry over 50% or have your bank be a max of 100, however you'd like to word that.
So Christie, did you have a proposal when you've done this?
I did not. I just thought we needed to look at what comparable and trust the process of everybody putting in their 2 cents worth. 5 weeks worth.
Don't have the villages.
I can bring it up.
You have that?
Yeah.
I have.
One of the things that I thought was helpful for several is that they're limiting how many hours you are allowed to carry over, i.e. DeForest Windsor, 40 hours would be allowed to carry over each year. That's the max. Use it or lose it. Wanakee, you can carry over up to 1 week. I think that would be helpful.
Well, right, because of what happens if somebody leaves their position or gets terminated, then they're paying out that 150%.
I think if you terminate me for cause, I wouldn't expect to get my vacation paid out.
But if you quit and you had these hours, you gave your requested time to leave, we now owe you 340 hours,
60.
60, yeah. So that's a budget killer. Just being frank. Well, wait. Till you take some vacation. Don't retire.
You could theoretically work out a departure agreement where you would pay out that amount, not all at one fell swoop.
But they'd have to probably have it
In a policy.
in a policy. Because who's gonna say, oh yeah, keep my time for a year or two?
Something else to think about.
The math.
Yep.
To let them accrue it, but kind of space out the payout if you were to leave. If you're.
I may be the odd man out here, but I'm pretty generous with PTO, especially in a government position where you don't get as paid as well as a private sector employee, but just me.
Significantly less. So it's 2 weeks to start. 80 hours,
It's tricky, but like, so.
but then it's 8 hours per year.
We have very great benefits.
Which is significantly less.
So for the rest of the group, Pete and I were just looking at our village policy for our village staff. And so full-time employees start with 80 hours of vacation at the time of hire. And then they get 8 additional hours of time per year. And then the maximum is 240 hours that they can reach.
6 weeks.
Yep, and then they can only carry over 40 hours of vacation. Which obviously I think, we should revisit the policy, but, going forward right now.
I could live with
I
that.
mean, the only thing I would say is that we don't look at village staff for paramedics for comparables. We would look at other EMS departments for comparables.
For paramedics, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in an administrative role,
These are all administrators that this is their accruals on the sheet.
This is administrators, not,
Correct. This is not field accrual. This is all their chief and administrator accrual.
so I mean, Stoughton's kind of been that same sort of boat where they're starting at 80 and, well, they only max out like 2 numbers, but it's going to be seeing that in Wanakee.
Yeah, and they're also getting 3 personal days every year. So they're effectively a vacation day that we don't have. Our holidays match up for number.
We have the same amount of holidays as they do.
9, 8 or 9?
10.
10.
So I have 8 scheduled and 2 floating.
Already there's 2 floating.
Because we didn't want to identify a specific day as a specific holiday like Easter.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess the question is there a recommendation on how to proceed? I mean, I think you point out where you got the policy. The question is if we change one piece of it, we're gonna need to identify an effective date, and any employee hired after that date is gonna go under the policy, and everybody else would be essentially grandfathered, right?
Yes, but
Yeah.
I think from a technical open meeting standpoint,
Yeah.
we can only tie it within this job description.
Absolutely.
Right, the other
Another
component is
agenda item.
giving me a direction on what to bring back to you for approval.
Yeah.
Is what I'll take that as, and you're not actually making,
We're not approving anything, but I think we
this is
can
the
talk,
direction we'd like to go, and please edit the
Right.
document and bring it back.
right?
Right, so right now we're just looking at this document.
So, do you want? Look back.
I would say a
No, no,
max.
no, no. Yeah, that's what that is.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that's what I would be.
okay.
What do you guys think?
No, I was just asking Christie just for clarification on what she was suggesting, and it sounds like she would do a maximum of 240 hours, 6 weeks.
I would agree with that.
Huh?
I would agree with that. And you see that on the comparables,
Right,
the high end is 240 hours, which is still very generous
it
for
is.
administrative position.
It is.
So that would be.
Well, I think we have to
Yeah.
pull out that administrative,
I'm sorry?
you gotta pull out that administrative.
This is for
Not,
non-represented
Yeah,
salaried employees.
so Eric's not represented either, so if
Right.
he were to leave, that person would fall within this
Right.
contract too.
But again, we can't change this tonight. We can just give
Right.
recommendations for the post.
I understand, but when you reference it to the administrative,
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
you can't single out one.
We're
Specific.
basically talking about the non-represented employees.
Non-represented, yeah. That's-
Right, which is everything but the street paramedics.
Correct. We're not touching. We can't. We have a
Plus you
contract.
get 8 holidays in there too.
And
And sick time.
sick time and floating days.
Oh, how many floating days?
2.
10 total holidays, so eight holidays and 2 floating days.
That's an extra 8 hours off.
Yeah, it is.
But those 10 days coincide with what everyone else got for benefits, so I didn't put it in there.
Well, So then on the new position, if 240 is the max.
Yep.
And
Yes.
then we work backward, so we would,
I would start with 2 weeks.
I
right,
would start with 2 weeks as
Yeah.
well.
and then maybe 120, 160, 240. Does that seem
At
right?
what time are you gonna go? Make your increments up.
So you're just gonna replace
It-
120 with 80, 160 with 120,
The last two.
240, so you're gonna get rid of 300 and put in 80 and slide them down.
Slide everything down. Is that what you're doing?
80, 120, 240, yeah.
80. You're gonna keep the same timeframes, less than 2 years.
Less than 2 years would be 2 weeks.
2 weeks, 80 hours.
Mhm.
And you're saying 2 to 5 would be 3 weeks or 120 hours. 5 to 10 would be what?
160.
160 hours or 4 weeks. And then 10 plus years, you jump to 240, you get another 2 weeks.
Correct.
So you get 1 week increments, and then that last jump from 10 plus years, you get 2 extra weeks.
But that's a total of 6, correct?
Yes.
I don't know where it came from. I was surprised to see it. There's a Curtis pen.
He did, yeah.
He did?
He did, long time ago.
I think that sounds fair.
Do we also want to, have, language about carryover?
Yes,
40
yes, 40, I agree with
So
Becky.
I just want to be cautious in that we don't get an annual allocation, so we would have to word it so that it would be of annual allocation and whatever number of hours you choose. We earn
As
we
you go.
Mhm.
Right. Okay, so,
So it would be like an annual carryover. It would be, you're allowed to accrue, very similar to what it says here.
You're allowed to-
Vacation time may be accrued up to a limit of 150%. You would just say that vacation time may be accrued to 40 hours or whatever number you choose over the employee's annual allotment.
that makes sense.
I mean, I'm less concerned about that. I mean, whether you use your vacation or not, I mean, if you build it up, you build it up. I mean, I'm less concerned about it, but I'm open. If you wanted to limit it, I mean,
I would rather have a limit on the carryover because again, you don't want people stockpiling their vacation and then all of a sudden if you have, well, I get that, but
It becomes
that's what we
possibility
want to
We're
limit
trying to
here.
prevent,
okay,
right?
okay.
That people take the vacation time when.
So you're saying the maximum of 40, you can accrue up to 40 hours above your annual allowance.
No,
That's what I do.
No further vacation shall be accrued until the balance is.
I thought we were talking about could not carry over.
Carryover.
But there's no carryover. There isn't an annual amount, right? So every pay period, you get so many hours. And it grows. There's no carryover.
There are,
Well,
I
there
think
is.
Christie was saying though, there are some entities that will only allow you to carry a maximum of 40 hours over to the next calendar.
To the next calendar
But again,
year.
the policy we have is not calendar year. There's no delineation in calendar year.
Well,
But that's what we're talking about.
Well-
Into the policy.
I think we're talking about two different things.
See, but then we would have to completely revamp how we allocate our sick and
Not necessarily.
Why?
we earn them as we go.
Correct.
We earn 3 point some hours of sick time a week or a pay period. And depending upon where you're at, certain number of vacation times per pay period. I don't know when that started. I just know that's what we've been doing for 7 years.
Correct.
So that said, there's no definitive, here's the cutoff. You can only carry 40 hours over from here unless we choose to change the way that
So,
we give
so what
out.
we could do is, what I'm hearing, is that come the first of the year, years 0 to 2 years, you get 80 hours in your bank. Now, if you use your 80 hours at 6 months and you leave, we're probably gonna take some of that money back because you used.
No, that's not the way it works.
Oh,
That's not the way vacation accrual works. So you accrue per pay
I
period
understand.
and you get your 6 or 7, whatever
I get
your
that.
accrual rate is. You earn that, that's yours.
I understand the accrual rate.
Yeah.
But if you're going to carry over, what Chief is saying is that you can't accrue. So if you don't accrue, then at the first of the year, you put 80 hours in this person's bank. The first of the year, they get 80 hours in their bank. That they can use throughout the year. They get their whole year in the bank.
That's totally different than what's
But
being done now.
But then you can limit what they can carry over.
Right.
Because you're giving it all to them up front.
If the way we do it, my operation is just like this. So I accrue 80 hours. So say I get 8 weeks vacation. So every pay period, I get 6 hours or whatever that number of hours is. And the amount of vacation builds over time. And what we're saying here is right now, it can never get above 150% of the rate. You have to use it or lose it, right? And you're saying we just want to limit how much they can build. There's no carryover, there's no bank.
Okay, but we were talking about carryover.
That's,
So
well,
that's
yeah,
why
but
I
that
was
totally changes the
separating.
policy as it is.
Yeah, what I said with
That's like
carryover was that
separate.
we needed to move to a different model if we were gonna continue to have the.
And that's what I was saying with the different model. That would be your
Yeah.
different model.
We-
Right? I
And
mean.
I would say the verbiage that we changed is that you can only
Yeah, you
accrue
understand that?
40 hours over what your annual allotment is, if that's what you choose. So that is a
Alright.
pseudo carryover.
Yeah.
But it's always a moving number.
It's more
So
a cap,
depending
it's more a cap than a
Do
carry.
we want a limit or don't we? I guess that's the question.
Today, the limit.
Before we answer your question, can I make a comment back a couple steps, please?
Mhm.
I too, the company where I work, yes, you accrue hours every pay period. You cannot, by the end of the year, you must have used up to all of your vacation time, or if you haven't, if you have leftover vacation that you haven't taken, you can carry 40 hours over into the next year of your 25 vacation that you've earned. Okay, that's carryover. You can move in 40 hours into the next calendar year. Number one, it's a philosophy. It makes you take vacation, to get you away from the job, to go ahead and do whatever it is you do away from work. But yet, you understand that either work constraints or whatever may not allow you to use the entire amount that you're given. So in order to help you out, we'll allow you to carry 40 hours of your 2025 vacation into 2026. And that wouldn't be a big change in the policy.
It would, I think, based on what I'm reading here. Because this puts.
Because that'll prevent the maximum amount of like the chief situation.
Well, I mean, they were saying you can't accrue and can't carry over, but what you're saying is in your job, you do accrue and you are limited on what you can
Carry over, so the most I could possibly have in my bank would be if I waited, didn't take any vacation time. If I carried 40 hours over
You'd have to.
into
either pay
2026, and I
pay out.
retired in 2026, not used any time, whatever I earned in 26 plus the 40 hours from 25, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Oh, so you get your full plus the 40.
Correct.
Okay.
So, I mean, if I didn't take any in 2026, kind of thing.
I suspect there's some ease in accounting with this too.
Yeah.
Because everything that we start talking about means that we have to keep track of specific dates on when it would zero back out or.
No, you wouldn't have to at all. None whatsoever.
Absolutely.
No, because of the fact you're starting January 1st, the first pay period in 2026.
I've never had any vacation that follows a calendar year, it follows your employment year.
Yeah, your start date.
So if you didn't start on January 1, then we would have to track, like.
And why is that so hard then? Okay, using your formula, why would that be so hard? Because
You have to zero back and then like, all we were saying is that you can only go 40 hours above what your total number is, and then you stop earning.
Because based on
then
your
it's
years of
10
service, you have a
years.
max amount you can accrue. Yes,
Two
you can accrue. Right, based on your years of service, you have a maximum amount you're entitled to accrue. So why would we want, at the end of the year, arbitrarily say December, we're gonna basically say now you need to go down to 40 if you got a big vacation plan in January? I don't think it's fair. I think it's bad policy.
But by the other model, and I'll use my Sun Prairie experience as an example, your holiday time that you were allocated refreshed on January 1, and you got the whole bank to use right away. Your vacation time refreshed on your anniversary, your employment anniversary date. And let's say there's two scenarios. I resigned from Sun Prairie after my shift on January 1, 20, whatever year it was. So I didn't know this when I did it, but I had my whole holiday bank refreshed. I got that paid out, and I didn't have to work but one day in the city of Sun Prairie to get all of those 160 hours. Similarly, my start date was July 5th. If I resigned on July 8th, I would have gotten paid out my full year's worth of vacation allocation as well. So there's positives and negatives to everything. I think the easiest way, as we kind of, I thought, had settled on a little bit was just change the verbiage to say we can only accrue to a maximum number over your annual.
Maximum accrual.
Or that you can't accrue over your annual.
And why are we paying people in advance for holidays? I thought for this particular case, she would take that or he.
Some hurry.
Yeah, don't confuse my example or anything.
All right,
We don't pay in advance for holidays.
okay,
I was giving it as an example.
gotcha. No, I
Nothing-
get it.
Nothing we get is paid in advance.
Okay.
If those 2 floating days, if we don't use them, we lose them. And then we have the scheduled days off, the other 8 scheduled days off.
So to just try to get us to, even if we move this 150% to 100%, right? Like that gets us lower. So I mean, I think that might be the easiest solution for now until we have time to do kind of more deep dive. So for the job posting, would that be amenable to everyone 100% versus 150?
So we'd have to pay out somebody conceivably 240 hours when they were to leave?
The most you can accrue is your annual allotment. That's
Correct.
it. So if you got 120 hours, you can accrue up to 120. If it's 100, that's you stop. So either you use it or you don't accrue anymore. It's a cap. Right?
So is that in, okay,
But I mean, don't we have to redo the policy? We can't just make it just for a job. We have to make it a policy.
for that piece of it, you mean?
And
For the policy, it does say, unless otherwise stated in an employment agreement. So, we will make sure that with a new candidate that is stated in the employment agreement, assuming we offer a job for employment prior to our next commission meeting.
I personally would like that run by someone who is HR,
Mhm.
understands that to make sure we are not doing something we should not be doing.
So that person wouldn't physically start until January.
After the first.
Well, I think we should have signed up before we even post this. though.
I agree
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
You can call the league and use their HR.
It could, and that's why I think it's important that we post it and say that they're gonna get vacation, but that maybe.
You don't have to call out the vacation in the posting.
I did.
You don't have to call sick time or, with benefits. That's all you have to say in the posting.
Please, can I return to the vacation time? One time. Just to highlight, less than 2 years, 2 weeks, 2 to 5 years, 3 weeks, 5 to 10 years, 4 weeks. Can we do then 10 to 15 years, 5 weeks? And then
15
16,
plus 6 weeks.
15 or 16 weeks on, 6 weeks.
I had written that down here. That's
Okay.
what I agree with that.
Okay, thank you. I just
Why was
clarify.
there in there?
What do the rest of you think about that?
That's fine. That's like a 1 week increment that
It
is
is,
going on.
it's a 1 week increment.
It's just another, so instead of four ranges, there's a fifth range. So it's 10 to 15, 10 less than 15, and then 15 plus. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, so in terms of the job posting, right? There's just like a couple of things I just want to ask. The hours of work. I know we had talked about making sure that, especially for commission meetings, that there's the in-person element. Do we need to spell that out? I mean, we say regular office hours, under office hours of work, that this is an in-person position.
Yeah, and we're into things, that's the position description that you approved last week or last month.
Okay,
You're talking about the.
So what I included in the job post, so
The 2 page.
effectively, this is the job posting. All the job postings always included the position description.
okay,
That's what the last 3 pages are, the position description.
but shouldn't we be forthright and, They're posting that this is an in-person position, or is that something we talked about during the
Is it
interview?
all in person or hybrid?
Well, that's what I don't know,
Good question.
because I don't think we defined that.
This- I mean, I would personally be fine with a hybrid, but I don't know, is there a need that we have them? Do we have space here that they're
Of course we.
here 40 hours in a week?
Well, I asked the question because a lot of the essential duties and responsibilities are, office related, right? Greets people coming in, answers the phone. So like,
Who comes in?
I think there's some ability to be flexible, but with the expectation that the majority of the hours would be in the office.
Yes, here.
I would say this is an in-person job, and if there is work remote, it's gonna be basically as approved by yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the recommendations is that the person have an EMT license. If they're not gonna be here, why do they need to have an EMT license?
Yeah.
I mean, and the chief had also said meetings ago about having someone to intercept in the office to intercept people coming in, so it didn't disturb staff, and I don't wanna, as they say in my company, a leader of first impressions, a LOFI.
Mhm.
That's an actual job description. You're a leader of first impressions. You're the first person or one of the first people you see when you walk in the door. And, and whomever that person is gonna be probably the first face of Deer Grove EMS.
Yeah.
And I would rather
I
like to
just
see
don't
that.
know how many people actually physically come in. I mean, do we get a lot of people that come in or not? And that's where, to me, it's
I
like,
think when people come here for birth
Is-
permits.
is it needed in person?
That-
They come here
For what?
But they. It shows parking tickets because those pulled on my head. Yeah,
That's my only thought on it. I don't really.
I think there's some flexibility in that.
preference
There's a
as
good
which
bit of
way.
the job description that says the person can be here, but I think about my job. I like to be here, but do I necessarily need to be here to do my job most effectively? Some days the quiet comfort of my home without distraction helps to work through some stuff. Although as Steve mentioned, hard to respond to calls when you're at home.
That's true.
So I think there's some ability to be flexible with the anticipation.
I'm not, and I want to be clear, I'm not saying never, okay? But
But when they're here, are they expected to be on call and responding to calls, or are they only a fill-in when needed?
I think
The
it.
primary
it's-
function is not to respond to calls.
Right, it would be to provide assistance as needed, which is not every call.
Yeah, the job description is not to respond to calls. And we talked about it's not necessarily a requirement. for-
Well, right, and I understand that,
Nice, yeah.
but conversation is you can't respond to calls from home.
Right,
Well, but are you gonna be
very good point.
on call every day?
Mhm.
That's why
I think for the calls that I respond to, there can be some weeks where the crew of 2 paramedics can handle all the calls in a week just fine. But then there's other weeks where there's extra assistance
I
needed.
needed.
And we can try to limit the amount of time that we use our partners in the fire departments if we can provide some of those things for us. As a, for instance, last week was beautiful, sunny, clear day week, but we had all kinds of car crashes. So, I try to go out to those to help the crew with scene protection, and one of them had 10 patients.
And is that only in Cottage Grove since they would be placed here, or
No, I
is that in Deerfield as well,
Deerfield,
that this person would go and cover and work out of?
yeah. Similar to what I do, that if there was help needed in Deerfield, we could get over there and help them.
But the main office facility, main office location would be right here. So,
Okay, so we're looking to define the posting information and the hiring information. I saw we've got opening date 11/21/2025, close date 12.
Just threw some dates on the wall because tomorrow's the 21st and we
Yep.
could start advertising tomorrow. That other one was editable based off of, I'm like, that's not it's short. I mean, it's just a little bit more than 2 weeks, but it gives us time to evaluate the applications. I assumed that we were gonna have a date where we would say, based off of the closing date, that the group would get together to evaluate the applications. Then we would say, this is gonna be our interview night, and then we'd have time that, depending upon the candidate we hired, would allow them 2 weeks and still start hopefully in the first week of January.
so the target would be the week of January 5th.
That's just the date that I chose, because it gave us that time to evaluate the applicants, invite a certain number for interviews, ponder those interviews, identify a candidate, and potentially give them time to put in 2 weeks and start sometime in early January.
I personally would like to see this open a little bit longer than the 5th, just because we obviously have a holiday in there.
It would be the 12th.
I agree.
I mean, even another week would be helpful.
So if we posted it tomorrow, we would go to the 12th of December.
Friday to Friday.
Oh, the 3 weeks with a Thanksgiving holiday. Then. What do you think?
I would go at least through the 12th.
To the
I
12th,
agree.
okay?
At least, or
I agree.
to like longer,
I like the 12th better than the 5th.
Okay,
longer or no? Okay.
I think the 12th is fine. And so the posting itself just talks about the standard benefit package, so an attractive benefit package, so it's very generic as it relates to what we're talking about. We're just talking about this one change. So I think if we just changed this, were there other? What's your, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, where, do you typically list postings for this?
Never. And when we advertise for paramedic employment, we use social media. I've used LinkedIn.
Okay.
We have the opportunity now to access the Wisconsin EMS Association website, which then gets into all the other job searches. So that was my plan.
Okay.
What about?
Like
But
Indeed
Wisconsin League.
What about Indeed?
and
Yeah, and Indeed, I would recommend.
Indeed is, it's pretty cheap, 3 weeks. Well, it's not free when you list. If you post a job, it's like $7 a day.
Well, there is a free
It's
version. of it.
free. What?
There is a free version, I think.
For posting jobs?
I think so.
You sure about that? Maybe it's if you post one job a year.
Yeah.
Because we pay.
Okay. So, yeah, but what we're saying is like Indeed, like some traditional kind of wider net sort of,
Right.
okay, so Indeed. You said Wisconsin EMS Association.
So you have a board, a job board? That's in the EMS.
Faith would like to ask a question?
What's that?
Faith would like to.
Oh, Faith, go ahead.
So I know that we have about 16,000 people that drive up and down County Highway N. And one of the things we instituted, not using Indeed, and although right now we're struggling for the part-time snowplow driver, is putting a sign right out front that said, health wanted, may look copious, I'll get out. And then what state the position and apply within, or go to the webpage. And we got some wonderful people out of that we never would have gotten otherwise. Every time we interview, we ask, how did you see it? Oh, the sign when I was driving my boyfriend to his appointment that day. I mean, you have a perfect spot right out here.
We do.
Is this for hourly positions or?
Yes, it
administrative?
was clerical. It was
So for
for an assistant clerk and 2 plowed, public works gentlemen. We've used it for all of those things and we've gotten really good candidates, except for our part-time guy
Okay.
for this winter. We can't seem to find anybody, but it's amazing what you have right out front here.
Thank you for the input.
We partnered with the fire department to add that information.
What's that?
We partnered with the fire department to add it to the message board before.
Is that something you
Yeah.
could just put on the message board? Okay, so message board,
Still doing, so,
what's that?
still do Indeed as well.
Absolutely. I'm very much a fan of Indeed for recruiting. Okay,
Generally don't have a budget for advertising for jobs because we've never advertised for jobs, so I'll have to make sure that we can get whatever cost to fit into the budget.
okay,
I think the league is,
I think we have
Yeah.
unassigned funds that can cover that.
I think so.
Yeah, we municipalities, I think, yeah.
Okay,
Would we want our municipal partners to advertise for, like, the various entities, or?
I've tried that with the village and through NeoGov, they can't
Okay, that's okay.
because of the relationship, like it has to be a village specific job for them to post it on their NeoGov site.
Because we're not part of NeoGov as a commission. Got it. Okay. Okay.
so there were 4 locations then.
Wisconsin EMS, social media, message board out front, Indeed, LinkedIn, and League of Municipalities, I think.
And our own website.
I'll have kids put it on the town's website also.
Okay,
great.
okay.
And so then we just need to determine the process.
The recruiting, yeah, the interview process and who's going to do it. So I think the last time we talked, there would be 1 rep from each community.
Maybe not one.
And who's it gonna be from Deerfield?
Here,
Okay.
And now they care.
Oh, if we're doing that, I nominate Pete.
That's funny, I just nominated you.
Too late. You didn't say it out loud. You can't just think it in your head.
And then Christie from the town.
they're doing rock, paper, scissors over here.
Okay,
Flip a coin, y'all.
okay. Carrie, Christie, and Pete. Okay. All right. I guess the only thing to wrap up then on this one is, I mean, it's a discuss and consider. I think there's a couple pieces to this, right? Need a motion on the posting and the time.
Before the motion, did you want to choose, aside from the closing date, any additional dates that work with everyone's calendar? Like at least choose a,
And resume review date and then
Yes.
the interview date.
because
As soon as possible.
by choosing a date that's a week later, you walk yourself into the same problem that you have by postponing a week, is that from the 22nd on, everyone considers that holiday.
Yep.
So now, because they close on the 12th, if they close on the 5th, we could have had our discussion that week, probably had interviews the following week and identified a candidate. Whereas I think now we're into a spot where we're not going to be able to interview anybody until January
Mhm.
reliably.
Could we review them on Saturday, the 13th?
I was just looking at that.
That way we could get back to them right away. I think it'd still be possible to interview the week of the.
And we had a
15th.
commission meeting on the 18th, right? Because this subgroup is gonna bring a
Right.
recommendation to the commission, right?
Well, we're gonna have to have time to schedule one.
Right.
Right.
Well, I mean,
That'd be tight, 3 days.
if it's, let's say if it's in January.
What?
I think it's okay.
January is fine,
Yeah.
but I think if
I
we,
guess, let me ask a question. We're getting to a spot here where the only employee that the commission has ever hired has been the chief.
Mhm.
Like, and then the chief hires everyone else. Why would this position be any different than hiring anyone else?
Well, I was the one that brought that up because I read through the IGA and it was told to me that I was out of bounds on it. And the commission is actually supposed to be doing all of the hiring per our IGA. And somewhere along the line, that must have gone away. But I remember back 14 years ago, we were involved in the hiring. So I think we need to get back to that because that's
What the IGA says.
That's what the IGA says. We've got to be in compliance with that.
Rewrite your IGA.
No,
Yeah.
Did you say you wanted to rewrite it?
No. I said,
mean, I-
plus you.
I wrote it down
I
there.
also suspect you don't want to be involved in as much of the hiring that we do.
No,
And so we need to figure that out then.
that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, we can have a conversation, but I remember doing interviews with Chief Urshan with paramedics. I mean, I'm obviously not a paramedic,
But you still,
Yeah, I don't know when that changed.
yeah, I don't either.
But it's not anything. I mean, when I interviewed, not only for the chief's position, but for the part-time position before that, I didn't interview with anybody from the commission. I interviewed with staff that we were on the process now.
But like I said, it's in the IGA. Let's figure out a task force or something to make sure that we're following that.
For this position, yes, I think that's a bigger discussion. as
Right,
far as-
but like, yeah,
I don't even want to go there right now. So
Right.
let's identify what we're gonna do here, and I think we've aligned on. Closes on the 12th. I think we need to talk about the timing of reviews and interviews, so. I mean, I don't know if we'd have a recommendation for the commission on the 18th. I think if we reviewed resumes over the weekend and tried to schedule them the week of the 15th.
you could try the 15th and early, 22nd, 23rd. Some people might be available.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
I don't. I mean, I work right up until the 24th. Some people might, if they're interested in a job. Or you go the following week, because that following week's gonna open up. New Year's isn't as big of a deal as,
we don't.
So
Well,
based
they
off of this
repeat it.
discussion as well, if the commission has to approve the person, why rush?
Say that again?
Said if you're gonna need to approve follow the IGA the way it's written, even though the next commission meeting isn't until the third Thursday in January, so why rush? Any of this?
15th.
That'd be January 15th.
Mhm. That's not so bad,
Which means then that person can't start until February.
It's only 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that person wouldn't be able to start until February.
That's still pretty rapid.
It is.
Got all of this cloud done.
Fire slow, fire fast.
I think that's still a fairly good hiring process.
So close it on the 12th, schedule interviews, and target to have a recommendation for the board on the 15th of January. Is that what I heard?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't watch football, so the 13th or the 14th is fine for me.
Good, you shouldn't watch the Badgers because it's not.
And I gave up on them a long time ago.
Well, we don't have a village board meeting on the 15th either. So there's that. I don't know if the town board is still.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's our town board.
Right.
Yeah.
You do have a town board meeting on the 15th
We do
Yeah.
have one. on
You
the-
guys don't have the town board meeting on the 15th?
No.
How come?
because we're meeting on the 8th with you guys.
Oh.
We can only handle 2 a month.
Right?
I see.
We just go.
Would you like some of mine? Would you like some of mine?
You can keep. 'Em.
No, we'll have our regular town board on the 15th, so. Um,
Well, sometime that week.
Sometime that week.
Well, if we can review everything, if it closes the 12th, we can review over the weekend
Right.
and then send out to try to schedule, between those.
Yep.
I think that's. And who knows, maybe the 22nd, we would interview that perfect person. We have an emergency, Derek will be in this meeting.
Can we do that?
On Christmas.
sure, you can call me.
Sure.
whenever you want.
If nobody shows up.
Well,
Okay. All right. So the only other, so as far as the posting, and the process, you probably need a motion for this, right?
I would move approval of the, putting forth the administrative service manager job posting, with the closing date of 12/12 of 2025. Advertising on Indeed, LinkedIn, Wisconsin Emergency EMS, social media message board, League of Municipalities, your group's website.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second.
I'm just rambling.
No, that's good.
I think you covered it.
You did. All right, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. So the only subset of that, go ahead.
Oh, a question I had for January then, we would learn the identity of this person on our regular meeting on the 16th then?
We would have to come with. the
Oh, I'm sorry, yes,
There would have, there would be a recommendation. for-
yes, okay, correct,
recommendation.
I'm
The
sorry.
commission would
All right,
hopefully approve.
yeah,
So the only other thing on here was we didn't, I don't feel like we closed on the other item of, there were three things under this number 11. And the one is the benefits package. So I think we have general agreement. We can't change the policy tonight. But I guess the question is, what is the recommendation to staff? Is recommendation to staff to create employees hired after X date? There's a separate vacation and then a separate, so C, item C and item G. Are we giving staff direction to create?
Thought we were giving staff direction to review with HR.
Yes.
Correct.
Right. What I'm saying is, yeah, okay, that's fair. To create, essentially, the goal would be to create something that we could change the policy, but review it with HR. I would say that we would want to go with the recommendation that we talked about and see if HR has issues with it, and then you can bring it back to the meeting next month.
Correct. We want to put what we talked about.
What we talked about in
Into
front of
it
HR,
And
and then
send that to them to say,
here next month, we'll have a agenda item to discuss revisions to the vacation time policy.
Vacation time, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so no action on that one. Okay, moving on then. Item 12, discuss and consider public live streaming feature for your growth meetings. I'm sorry?
Nothing. Nothing, that's just being sarcastic.
I haven't had time to fully investigate what it means to live stream. I think it's possibly doable, but I also don't know the costs associated. I do know that we're paying for the lowest level of internet here because we don't use much bandwidth.
Mhm.
If we're having a Zoom or a Teams meeting and streaming live, we might need more. So that would be something I would have to investigate. To link Teams to a stream, we might also have to find another program. Thus far, I've researched a free application that will stream it.
Mhm.
But I don't know how many times you're allowed to use that free application. So
And how long we meet per session?
So I'm the one that requested this because I've had residents say, I want to attend the meeting, but I just want to be in the background, like I don't want to be seen on the screen. So one easy, super easy pivot is I know that the village has the ability to do this with our software. It wouldn't cost us anything to just utilize it, and they stream live to YouTube. And I feel like both the town and your village do.
we do through our cable.
Yeah.
Through cable, not.
You,
Oh,
yeah, I don't know if you can, connect Teams, because we did try that one time and that was very difficult
they're streaming the
But-
video direct to Vimeo.
but we can go straight to WDEE, which is our local cable, and that's who we stream with.
Yeah, so I know like. at
But it's not on the
Village Hall,
internet.
We could do YouTube.
Yeah, you could go to www.wdee
And
and you could open up your stream.
No, you're fine. So in essence, we already have the capabilities in both municipalities to do it.
We would just have to move from here to your village, probably.
Yeah.
I guess my question is on Teams, like if I call in, I can just put a name, anonymous and not turn my camera.
There's a component of
Right.
that of, I couldn't edit this meeting. For whatever reason, to take away some of the, setup that we've had for this meeting, and because we've used the same meeting for 4 years. For next month, I can create a new meeting that doesn't require you to identify yourself.
We could try that.
Would that be easier? I mean, I totally understand what you're saying. If someone wants to be anonymous, and that's fine. But if we can do it without having two streams, I think that would be good.
I'm just trying to open more public access
So
and remove any barriers.
Why would this be any less accessible to the public?
But I'm saying it's a barrier if somebody doesn't want to identify themselves.
You don't.
Or if someone
that's why you
doesn't
don't have to.
understand Teams.
on this rendition meeting you have, what Chief's saying is
He's gonna
set a
try it.
different meeting where it could be anonymous.
Cause like when the town does ours, I have the ability, I forget, how we use GoToMeeting at the town.
Mhm.
And if I'm remote somewhere, it asks for a name. Put a single letter, put an exclamation point. You don't have to actually, as long as you make a mark in that box, it doesn't care what's there.
But I
And
think,
that doesn't,
when you have older people or
Yeah.
whomever, they don't understand Teams.
Right.
And there's times that, if I'm on a different computer and I go to log into a Teams meeting, oh, I've got to download this, I got to update that. And an older person is probably going to get frustrated with that. Where if you instead just go to a website and push this button and boom, there's your thing. I think
The other
that would be that accessibility for people.
The other piece I think was sending the recording of the meeting and then there's a delay, like when it goes to the village and if Lisa's not there and then getting it up on the village website versus having it just live somewhere like right away.
Mhm.
That's the other piece, just a time sensitive kind of thing. So, but if we can certainly try that next time. So,
Yeah, there's no sending of the files. Lisa has direct access to the folder, so tomorrow morning when if she comes in and decides to upload it, she can upload it directly from the file.
I just know we've had a lag on our side. So,
From Lisa taking action.
yeah,
But she needs to do it on village meeting anyway. She's got to upload.
right.
Okay, so no necessarily action on this other than direction to staff to set it up as anonymous. Okay. That brings us to items 13 and 14. So I can read this and then we'll go into closed session. There are two. So the first one is going to be,
before you start, I think you're gonna have to come out of one before you can go into the other.
I think so. I think you're right.
because they are two separate ones.
Yes, correct. So you can, we gotta read the first one and everybody clears out who's not supposed to be here. We do our business, we come out of that and actually if there's action to be taken and then you then go back in.
Yeah.
Second.
I think what I'd like to do is we'll read them both, go into closed session. We won't, because they're back to back, there isn't a public
There's not a break.
agenda item between them. And then we can come out and we'll do number 15, which is consider anything in either closed session.
But do we know if that's,
That's legit. We do it all the time.
Yep.
We do it all the time.
We can just do it.
So,
we don't.
No, we don't do that either.
And I was hoping that we could go downstairs to our emergency operations center so that we can keep the kitchen and restrooms open for the staff. So,
we have had closed sessions in here before, where we just close the door.
Yeah.
It's just
it's
gonna
up,
be-
whichever.
Okay, as long as we can secure it, but. All right, so consider/adopt motion to move into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.5, paren 1, paren E, for the purpose of deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business, whenever competitive bargaining reasons require closed session. This would be for the purpose of bargaining position for provision of EMS services to areas currently making up the Cambridge EMS district. Can I get a motion?
I so move.
We have a motion,
Second.
we have a second. Those in favor? We need
I will
roll
call.
call. We need roll call.
I'm taking minutes.
So Paul will take the motion in closed session. Okay,
Roll
Paul,
call, Keith Dahl,
aye.
Steve Anders, Chris
Aye.
Williams, Jackie Call,
Aye.
Terry
Yes.
Hewitt, and Paula Severson, yes.
Okay, item number 14, consider adopt motion to move into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.85, paren 1, paren F, for the purpose of considering financial, medical, social, or personal histories or disciplinary data of specific persons, preliminary consideration of specific personnel problems or investigation of charges against specific persons where open discussion would likely have substantial adverse effects on the reputation of the person involved. And this is for the purpose of preliminary considerations of specific personnel problems related to quantity of time worked by staff. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second,
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Pete Dahl.
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Sanders, Chrissy Williams.
Aye.
Jackie
yes.
All those. And the second was who again?
Steve.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are moving into closed session.
Okay.
So we are,
Right.
I do.
We do.
Peter, we have to actually vote to come back into open session now in front of the meeting here.
We did
So-
that already.
Yeah.
No, we have to,
No, you have to do it
You
on,
do it
Yeah.
open session.
It can't hurt to do it again.
okay, we'll do it again.
I move we arise from closed session.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Pete Dahl.
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Steve Sanders, Chrissy Williams.
Aye.
Jackie Call.
yes.
Paul Severson.
Okay, so we are back in open session. So we are on the Teams online meeting. Okay, and we're recording. Okay, so we're on to item 15, consider or adopt motions as we reconvene open session, take any action necessary from the closed session items.
I would move that we task the chair to contact the village of Cambridge to provide a formal RFP for EMS services.
We have a motion
Call seconds.
and a second. Any more discussion on that one? Those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Abstained, motion carries. Okay. Going back to agenda item 14.
Yes. I would, oh, we're going to.
Yep, the next,
I would make a motion to engage with the human resources firm to provide human resources services for Deerfield EMS.
second.
we have a motion, we have a second. Further discussion?
Aye.
So, okay? Okay, all right, hearing none, those in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn.
Call seconds.
We have a second.
Do we have discussion on this?
Uh,
I handed out a piece of paper quick, tie back to what our discussion was about hiring. And if you look at the powers of the commission, the hiring and firing powers have been delegated to me by the IGA. In line, whatever it is, 6, I think. So that's where the adjustment happened whenever that agreement was created, that maybe at some point in time, the commission did become actively involved in all of it. But through either making a revision of this, all those were delegated to the chief of the department.
No, the legal language talks about the powers of the commission, and the commission has the power to do that. And I think certainly for what's been happening, absolutely. And whether we need, maybe it was formally done that way for EMTs. I don't know. But when I read this legally, that doesn't delegate that. It gives the commission.
The commission has the authority to delegate it, but
The commission,
it's not this.
right, but the commission has under 4 to hire and terminate personnel. So, I mean, it's a good point. Thanks for sharing it. But, and I think personally, I don't have a problem with the way the hiring process has been done up until this point. We're talking about a staff member at the administrative level. And I think what we're doing is.
That's fine. I'm cool. The way we're going is fine. I just didn't want to have to try to schedule in with commission members for general EMT, volunteer, paramedic hiring processes that are already difficult to schedule.
Very good.
Okay.
So we have a motion and a second.
Yeah.
Discussion? Christie, you want
I
to say
just
something?
want to clarify that we're closing the people turning in their resume on the 12th.
Yes,
Can we look at those applications on the 13th?
Can they be forwarded?
Can they be forwarded electronically so that we can be ready
Or
to
do we
roll?
all want to get together?
Or can we come here?
I can on
together?
the 13th, but I think I could review it individually and we could have a call or get together and review the top candidates.
Can you send forward them all or
Yeah.
them all forwarded?
Yeah.
We can review them and then. we
Store
can-
them in a file and share the file.
Okay, yeah.
So you're gonna
sure.
post them and you'll have them sent to you and then.
Yeah, so we can be ready to roll right after that.
Very
Okay,
good.
thank you. That was my question.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Those in favor of adjourning, we're closed.
Yeah.
9 o'clock. There you go.